The Museum of Space Exploration in Moscow is one of the most prominent science and technology museums in Russia. The central landmark of the museum and its park is the 107 meters tall monument to the conquerors of space, made entirely of titanium. Another interesting sculpture contains the planets of the solar system and their orbits. In the museum lobby, you can see the statues of the fathers of modern astronomy, mathematics, and physics: Johannes Kepler, Isaac Newton, Mikhail Lomonosov, and Albert Einstein. The next exhibition contains robotic spacecraft used by the Soviet Union for the exploration of the moon in 1950s, 60s, and 70s. They were small, they didn't carry any astronauts, but these were tremendously important first steps in the exploration of our natural satellite. This huge interactive globe shows the trajectory and the main events of the first manned spaceflight in history, the flight of Yuri Gagarin on April 12, 1961. The booster rocket detached from the spacecraft. The altitude is almost 200 kilometers. It's already in outer space. Now Gagarin is still flying over the territory of the Soviet Union. Here is some communication with the radio stations in the Far East and Kamchatka. And now he is flying over the Pacific Ocean. This type of spacesuits were worn by the early conquerors of space in the 1960s. Do you think it looks safe? Would you dare to go to outer space in one of them? This sculpture celebrates the triumph of Yuri Gagarin, the first cosmonaut. He looks like a titan, something in between Atlas, who holds the sky, and Prometheus, who brings humans fire. This airlock was used by the Soviet cosmonaut Alexei Leonov, the man who did the first spacewalk in history. On March 18, 1965, he got out of his spacecraft and flew in outer space for 12 minutes and 9 seconds. Sputnik 1, the first artificial Earth satellite, launched on October 4, 1957, triggered the space race between the Soviet Union and the United States. The dogs Belka and Strelka were the first animals to go to space and return to Earth in 1960. These are their real bodies, preserved after their deaths. The next part shows the successors of Sputnik 1, which were launched in 1957 and 1958. This is Sputnik 2. And this is Sputnik 3. Vostok 1, the spacecraft of Yuri Gagarin. It was designed only for one cosmonaut, and it looks cozy inside. That's why the first cosmonauts were short. There was not enough space for tall people in there. Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, the father of rocket science. He lived the life of a humble schoolteacher, but his mathematical equations laid the foundation of modern astronautics. Sergei Korolev, the father of the Soviet space program, in his office. He designed the rockets and spacecrafts which allowed Yuri Gagarin to become the first man in space. This is one of the paintings by Alexei Leonov, who was not only the first man in history to do a spacewalk, but also the first artist in space. He took colorful pencils and paper and did the first sketch of Earth from space. This part of the museum shows an exhibit of his paintings.
Одна. Ползнай.
Профессия космонавта – это действительно очень тяжелая и опасная работа, которой нужно учиться долгие годы. Но если мечта о космосе будет сильной, то любой мальчишка и любая девчонка действительно смогут стать тем самым главным человеком планеты,